How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the CFC Talk podcast. It's great to be on again with the hosts with the usual hosts as always. Atletico 0, Chelsea 1, an away win, a very important away win. And I'm going to jump right into some superstitions once I'm done introducing both the hosts and we get their opinions. Alex, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah,
How was
good.
the game?
Oh, yeah, great to be on and to have a wow. I mean, I did not expect the result, if I'm honest, but at the same time, I didn't expect Atletico. Well, whilst we were good, I thought Atletico were extremely poor. But at the end of the day, what matters is that we just beat the team that are top of Spain at the moment, and we beat them 1-0, and we got the away goal. We stopped them from scoring, and I'm pretty confident. Yes, we lost some players for yellow card suspensions, but I'm reasonably confident of going through to the next stage of the Champions League. And our record I think there's a stat that we've never not progressed after winning the first leg away in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite and yes, it's a different Chelsea team. It's not very experienced in these stages, but I'm confident, I think. And I don't see, we've got plenty of depth to cover up for the fact of Jorginho and Mount not being able to play. But I'm more than confident Atletico in the home leg are going to have to absolutely come at us because they got to score, they got to win. So yeah, they're going to come for us. And after the display last night, I'm quite confident. But other than that, Olivier Giroud, what a man. What a goal. Absolutely unbelievable. We got a bit lucky. We got a little hint of luck from Hermoso, also known as Alex Goldberg, for the assistant, by playing him on side. But what an amazing finish, though. Absolutely amazing finish. And he did it better than Dele Alli did tonight. And he did it in a better competition. So...
Flames
all
for
good
minute
news.
number 5.
Yeah. But I'm also disappointed that Mohammad got his score prediction right again. And now that he's...
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what we're talking about, we've actually got this internal competition between the CFC Talk team, and at the moment, I think, am I leading by 5 or 4 points, something like that? And Alex and Amart have both dropped down this weekend after their predictions. But Amart, your prediction of 2-1, it might have not been the right prediction, but you did predict a win. So how happy are you after that win, and how you've been doing the last few days?
2-1 is the same as 1-0, so we'll take it that I got the prediction correct. So,
a win is a win.
And I like how you were trying to kind of like be modest about it and trying to ask us whether you were the one on top when you are the one who puts the table together.
No,
so
okay. No, I
for a fact that
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how many points ahead I was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good. I was happy we won. I had a feeling we will win. At first, I think when the week started, I was kind of like thinking towards a draw. Probably we get a good draw. We get probably we'll score 1 goal or 2 goals and come back home with an away goal or something. But I don't know. Getting to the game, I was very confident, and then after watching the game they had against Levante, I noticed that there was some kind of like weaknesses that they had. Against Levante. Levante defended very, very well, so I was very confident that if we go out there and defend I didn't think Jorginho would start. In my mind, I was thinking that Kante would start. So if Kante started, Kovacic in the middle, we would have a solid midfield and a solid defense at the same time, so we'll prevent them from scoring, and then we might get a lucky goal or two. But um, I think it went better than I expected, because for the in the first place, I didn't expect us to have that much control that we did in the first half. Even though were a little careless with the ball at times. We were having a lot of misplaced passes when we got to the final third. But I mean, I really expected Atletico Madrid. Granted, that's not their home, but technically that's the home game for them. So I expected them to come out more aggressively. I expected them, even though they are a defensive side, I expected them to like go on the offense as well, but they didn't. It's like they were sitting back waiting for us to do a mistake, and fortunately we didn't do any mistake. We had one or two issues at the back, but we managed to solve those things, and we didn't really give them an opportunity to punish us that much, and our game plan worked. So even though I was afraid that Jorginho would start instead of Kante, and that would worry us, but they didn't really press us. They didn't really attack that much. So I think it was safe to play both of them. Even though I don't think they had the best games, because I think Jorginho was beaten sometimes in the midfield, and some of his passes going forward was poor, man, very very poor, and he didn't need to do any defensive duties because they weren't on us that much. But Kovacic also, on the other hand, also had a really poor game, but we were able to ride the storm, and we did we did the job. So now we just have to defend like like hell when we play at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, we're going to see 90 minutes of just Christensen, Silva, and Rudiger, as well as every defender we've got on the team. Bring on Gilmore, bring on academy players. We just play the same way. Sorry, go ahead.
Waste time. It was very fun. Yeah, never mind. We'll get into the Atletico's Spanish media's comments on the game later, but it was quite funny.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I think we might have to use the Atletico tactic, have 6 defenders with 3 holding midfielders, the way they were defending throughout the game. But yeah, a very, very good win. And let's dive straight into it. First half, I did watch the full game, and I did watch it on a live stream, so I kind of had to hold back on my reactions. But even before the first half, the lineups, I don't think any of us expected that lineup.
I mean, yeah, didn't expect. I thought Kante would come back maybe, but I think we got almost everything right in the prediction. I think we did. I think the only surprise was James instead of Hudson-Odoi, but then again, apparently, James wasn't like, I didn't see the game against Southampton, but apparently James was quite poor. So I guess it was to be expected that Hudson-Odoi would come in, and Hudson-Odoi played really well. Especially first half, looked very bright and put in some decent crosses. There was one, I think, first half that Werner was just about a yard. Again, with Werner, he's always, whenever we put crosses in from him, he just doesn't time it right. But Hudson-Odoi played good in the first half, especially. Good lineup for sure, though, I think, other than maybe Kante.
Mark, in your prediction, you didn't have Giroud in there. I'm just having a look at that.
Yeah, because I predicted that we'll go with one top, and I assumed that if we go with a one striker, he would prefer to pick Werner over Giroud. Probably if I went for the 2 strikers up top, I would add Giroud to it, because I don't think Abraham impressed a lot over the weekend. But yeah, so I went with Werner instead of Giroud, and even at some point I even wanted him to switch because of the way we were wasting time. We were wasting a lot of passes in the final third. There were so many passes that way they're just throwing away, especially when it came to, I don't know whether it was Hudson-Odoi not reading uh, taking his runs early, or the passes that were very poor. But I don't know. I'll put it on the passes, because I think anytime he got to the ball, he did very good with it. But I think the passes that came to him was very very bad. So I was even thinking, I think I said on the live stream that if we could probably move Werner up top, and then, because I felt like Giroud wasn't getting any service. He wasn't getting any service throughout the whole game. I think that's one of the things that makes Giroud, like the things that make him stand out from other um, um, strikers, because he makes his chances. He makes his own chances, and that chance that came, somebody might say, like some people might say, it's a lucky chance, but it fell to him and he scored, because it wasn't meant for him. It wasn't meant for it wasn't crossed to him. It was crossed, I think it was Mount that got the ball initially, and then the defender just put it in the path of Giroud, and Giroud thought fast, and then made good use of that chance. So yeah, I mean the service was poor. Like the service coming to the main strikers were not really the best, but Giroud came out on top, and then he gave us the goal, a fantastic goal, I might add.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I agree with that. I think Giroud, yeah, as you said, he wasn't getting a lot of service, and that's the key, that's the thing with Giroud. Like you can't play him unless you've got. I think this is where Giroud was quite a good player under Lampard, because we always had that cross and hope it goes in kind of formula, which isn't really there with Tuchel, because we try to change it around and use Mount and use Kovacic and other players. Sometimes driving into the box, sometimes crossing it in, or even taking shots outside the box, which we kind of didn't see with Lampard. So it was nice to see him start Giroud, of course. But before we get into that kind of debate, I wanted to leave it for a bit for the end, because we've got this kind of article that was written by The Athletic today about Tammy Abraham not wanting to extend his contract, and if Haaland does come in, Giroud could get another year at Chelsea as a third choice striker, unless he wants to leave and wants regular football towards at the end of his career. Andreas Christensen, a highly underrated player under Tuchel. We've seen him perform really well in a lot of times, and I think, as Alex said before the podcast, when he emptied his pockets when he went home, I'm sure Suarez was in there as well, Felix as well. What are your thoughts on Christensen and how he's transformed under Tuchel?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a transformation per se, because usually it's a new manager bounce, so kind of like everybody wants to impress. But Christensen did very very well. Saying he has transformed is, for me, might be a bit too much, because we haven't really seen him there um, in many games so far. So if he plays there and he does very very well, like he doesn't do any mistakes like he usually does in the past, then fine, I'll say he has transformed. But for now, he's giving us very very good performances, and probably might come. It might all boil down to the fact that there's a new manager, and players that weren't given the opportunities in the past are now getting the opportunity, so they want to impress and stay in the lineup. So that also might add up to it. But he did very well, very very well. I mean, I didn't expect him to pocket Suarez the way he did, because man, like he couldn't get past him. I don't remember even Suarez having any definite chance in the game, but he did very well. And next to him, to Rudiger, Aspi, they were also fantastic. The three defenders were very very good. They executed their job very well. And but Christensen, I think probably, apart from Giroud, maybe Mount, I think he was also one of our best players yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. As you mentioned, Antonio Rudiger and Azpilicueta. I think after the Southampton game, Alex, a lot of us Chelsea fans were kind of frustrated to see how kind Chelsea are, and how we we don't really come off as an aggressive team, and we missed that kind of Diego Costa type player. I'm sure you must have seen the incident between Rudiger and Suarez.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, not as in, when I say good to see, not like, oh, I don't want him to kind of. I'm not sure why. Apparently, it was like Suarez scratched his knee or something, and then Rudiger proceeded to put a kind finger onto Suarez's tattoo on his neck. So no, it was good to see that, at least they've to see some aggression. There were a lot. I've not seen us make as many tactical fouls in a game as much as we did tonight in quite a while. So it was quite nice to kind of beat Atletico at their own game almost, for mastering the dark arts of football. It was quite funny as well, because the Spanish media kind of, I think, I can't remember what paper it was, but there were a couple of newspaper articles talking about that Chelsea only really won because Atletico couldn't actually play football, because Chelsea were fouling them too much and making too many tactical fouls, and in a fair game that they wouldn't have won. It was quite funny, because we're playing Atletico Madrid.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was hilarious to see that. And yeah, we did a lot. Like made a lot of tactical fouls in this game. Picked up a couple of yellow cards in the process, at least. But Atletico were also dirty at it. They would also go down extremely easy, but it doesn't really matter anymore. We came out on top, and
I
we
mean,
just got.
honestly, is there anything wrong with fouling a team too much?
You could say it's unsportsmanlike, I guess, but Pep's teams get kind of that, or they didn't get it much this season, but in previous seasons, it's become quite a talking point of how Pep's teams kind of just they overfoul to stop counterattacks, and that's kind of what we did tonight.
But I don't see anything wrong with that, and it might be considered unsportsmanlike, but that's why there are yellow and red cards. I mean, if the foul was if there were any dangerous fouls, or if we were trying to injure any players, I'm sure the referee would have taken action and given us a red card.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the referee was right in giving Mason Mount the yellow that he got. And who was the other one? I think was it Jorginho?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, both of them. I think I'm not going to sit here and say they weren't yellow cards, but I'm not going to sit here and say it was kind of wrong for Chelsea to go out there and try and foul, because I think if it was a dangerous foul, I'm sure the referee would have taken action.
Yeah, exactly. I think the media, yeah, I think they're just bitter because two things. One, we beat Atletico Madrid at their own game. It's something that they do a lot. It's not the first time we've played them. We've played them before, and they foul a lot, and they foul not even tactically like what we did. They foul and get cards, so they are worse than what we did yesterday. And then I think the secondly to probably you see there were a lot of pundits that were making comments like what Joe Cole did made yesterday. I think Joe Cole said that if this was the best team Spain has to offer, then there's a problem with the La Liga side or something like that, because they made Chelsea control the game, and they are supposed to be the best team in La Liga currently. So I think that also um, 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 struck a nerve with some of the Spanish media outlets, and they just wanted to justify the fact that the reason why they lost. But man, you just lost. It's a 90 minutes game. Everybody watched it. You lost, and that's that.
Yeah, I think I was talking to May about this on the live stream, and how we kept saying we keep calling the French league the Farmers League because of the difference in the first and second place, but it's kind of weird how every league in Europe almost has a point difference of 1 to 5 points, and the Premier League is the only league where the difference is more than 5 points.
Yeah.
With Man City still having a game in hand, or have they played their game in hand?
I think they've played their game in hand now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly, it was a very unexpected result, and that's what surprised most of us. I think with Tuchel, we kind of thought we could get away with a draw, maybe 1-1 at max. A win was almost like a win would have been considered, and I'm sure this would be one of the best games Chelsea's played this season. One of Chelsea's best performances this season. So I think all of us Chelsea fans are excited about this, and Atletico and football fans are saying it's going to be it's a lucky thing, and I'm sure Arsenal and Man United fans will jump on this because they play in the Europa League. So any kind of chance they get to talk bad about Chelsea.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think you see when people say it's a lucky win, I don't think they are far off when they say that. We played very well. We dominated the game, but without Giroud's goals, it was a 0-0 draw, and that's why players like Giroud are very very important when it comes to um, uh, striking and all that, because they make their own chances. So if you have players that make their own chances, even though the you are not able to get clear cut chances to score, they come up with these kind of moments of brilliance and still get the win for us. So when some of them say that we are lucky, I wouldn't really blame them, because for me, I was also very happy when Giroud's goal went in, because we were trying everything possible and we were not even getting. I think we only had one. I think it was Werner that had a shot on target. I think apart from that, I don't remember any other shot on target apart from that. And then Giroud's goal came in. So we are grateful for the goal. We are happy for the fact that Giroud plays for us and not for Atletico Madrid, and he did that for us. So we'll take it all day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did not expect us to win, if I'm honest. I did after the Southampton game, but Atletico went into this game with cold feet. Essentially, they just did nothing. They had a couple of chances first half when we looked very nervous, but they just didn't really show up. They pressed us a lot at the start of the game, but then they kind of just they lost their edge in the second half, and yeah, they just didn't really do anything. So we have to be cautious that, I mean, it probably won't be, I'd be very surprised if it's like that in the second leg. They're probably going to come after us because they got nothing to lose at the end of the day, and it's Atletico Madrid. All they need to do is they have to score 2 to go through at least. So yeah, as long as we score 1, the tie is pretty much gone. Oh no, at Stamford Bridge, if we score 1, they have to score 2 still. To be fair,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
but if they do score 2, then they go through.
exactly. Yeah. But so it basically our first, even if we score 1 goal, it doesn't really make a difference. Thus, we have to score at least 2 at Stamford Bridge for it to actually make it the kill the tie. Really, because if we score 1, then it'll be 2-0 on aggregate. But they still have to, and if they score 2 goals from that, they still go through. So 2-0 or 2-1 doesn't really make a difference to us. But if we go 2-0 up at Stamford Bridge, then the tie is pretty much, I mean, the tie is done pretty much. They have to win 3-2 if that happens. So yeah, we still got to show up for sure. But yeah, it's a tricky one. As long as as long as we don't lose, then we go through.
Alex is drafting up a probability
I'm
method
so
at the
sorry.
moment.
I know. My
think,
brain is.
I think the main thing we should do is focus on not letting them score. That's that. I think
That's the thing.
we should just focus on not letting them score.
Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho, and Mount all together, 3-6. We do a 3-6-1 or something like this. Yeah.
But Mount and Jorginho can't play, so I think we already know the midfield. Yeah, so I think we already know the midfield against the next leg. It'll have to be Kovacic, Kante, and Kai Havertz, unless Gilmore does get his chance, which I doubt it will be against a team like Atletico. But transitioning into kind of a controversial subject, we've seen, I'm not sure if you guys are up to date with what's happening on Twitter recently with the news coming out that Tammy Abraham does not want to renew his contract at Chelsea as things stand because they're interested in signing Haaland, which would make him the third choice striker. And he's only, if I'm not wrong, 22.
Yeah.
22. So
Sorry, go on.
Guys, I thought he was laughing at me for getting his age wrong.
Mohammed, I'm not that mean. I genuinely was copying that, but I was on a different tab. I'm sorry. Go on.
Amart's making me self-conscious before the podcast, and Alex is laughing at me on the podcast.
He's 23. I just checked it, 23.
Oh yes, okay. So he's 20. I mean, he's got a bright career ahead. So, Amart, would you let him go if that means Haaland comes in and Giroud maybe extends his contract for a year?
I mean, I understand him if he doesn't want to stay. I definitely understand him because I feel like he has so much potential. He has that kind of potential to be leading the side. He has to be the main striker, and I think we all applauded the fact that he still gave us 100%, even though we brought in Werner, which means that will push him to the second spot and then push Giroud to the third spot. But he still came out on top when it came to that sort of competition. I think him and Giroud came out on top, and Werner kind of like faded back. And now they are going to bring Haaland again. That, for me, if I'm in his shoes, I'll be thinking about my career, because this is a team where last season I scored 16 goals for the team. So I'm expecting that probably if I don't even get the number one spot, I'll share that spotlight with whoever comes in. But now the person that came in isn't doing well. Instead of, like let's say, putting me in that spotlight, you're bringing somebody else to come and replace that person that wasn't doing well, and then that will push me down a peg to number three. So for me, I understand him when he says that he doesn't want to stand, and it will be a shame to see him go, but I don't really see him playing regularly if Haaland comes in, because Werner will also be there, and the team wants to enjoy the benefits of their investments in Werner. I don't really think they've seen any enjoyments yet, so they want to see that as well, and they want to see Haaland. And usually, when it comes to these things, it becomes like the academy players are sacrificed because they weren't bought in. The money wasn't spent on them, so usually they are seen as like secondary, whilst the most expensive players that were brought in, they are seen as priority. So I think he has a point. If he wants to leave, I think he has a point. But I wouldn't blame him. Like, a lot of people are saying that his performances have been bad under Tuchel and all that. I wouldn't blame him that much, because as we've seen in recent games, usually that the front man doesn't really get enough service, especially when Tuchel came on. The front men haven't really had the best of games. Giroud starting up top, he hasn't really had the best of games. I think prior to yesterday, and then the I think the Burnley game that he scored, was it the Burnley game? No, the game that the one that he scored before the Southampton game. I forgot the Newcastle game. That one. So I don't know. I'll not blame them. I'll not blame Tommy for the poor performances. I rather blame the system. He really isn't fit for the system that we are playing right now, and it's making him look like he's the one, he's the bad one, or he's the bad nut. So I mean, like I said, I understand it. He'll be missed, but also the fact that if Haaland comes in, that we all know that he's not going to be getting regular. He's not going to be number one when Haaland comes in. When Haaland comes in, Haaland is going to be number one. So if he decides to go, we wish him all the best. To support him wherever he goes to.
Alex, I think Amart mentioned something about the system that we play, and I do hope that Tuchel is our manager next season. If he is, then we might see kind of two strikers play at the same time, meaning Chelsea will still need to have that third striker just in case someone's injured, or we need to rotate. Do you see, if Tammy does end up staying, Giroud leaves, and we still end up signing Haaland, do you still see Tammy getting the chance that he deserves and him fighting for his spot on that team, or is it going to be a regular start for Werner and Haaland?
Well, it's a tough one. It really depends on whether we're going to change to a back four or stick with the back five. I would like to think we're going to go back to a back four eventually, because I don't really want to see Alonso playing much more football for Chelsea, and Ben Chilwell's kind of been cast aside in the past couple of weeks. So, yeah, definitely want to see us go back to a back four. And if we do, then that reduces the chance of playing with two strikers at least. And in that case, I don't see. No, if I'm honest, I'll be quite unhappy if we do sell Giroud and not Tammy. If I'm honest, or not sell Giroud, release Giroud, or let Giroud go, not from a contract. I would be
even
quite
after that
unhappy.
bicycle kick.
No, that's what I meant. I said I'd be really upset with it if we did let him go and kept Tammy, because yeah, at the end of the day, Tammy's still going to be second choice, and like, Tammy's not bad. I think we all rate Tammy to some extent. His record is extremely good over the past 2 seasons, but he's just not going to be number one over Haaland if he comes. So
he's sorry to interrupt, but I think he's Chelsea's top scorer. He was top scorer last season, and he's top scorer right now.
Yeah,
right now though, it's like, I mean, he's scored a lot of goals against championship teams in the FA Cup. So but his record is still good. Per minutes wise as well, it's extremely good. And if we do go back to a back four, then we're going to be seeing less of this kind of Werner and Giroud playing, or Werner and Haaland playing, unless he does stick with the back five, which I hope he doesn't, because it's quite clear Chilwell isn't favoured there. So I see the second striker, whoever it is, playing even less. So Tammy's minutes will probably go down even more. So if he did stay, so yeah, it's. I would be happy with Tammy as the second striker. That would be fine. I'm not saying he's not good enough for Chelsea. He's definitely good enough, especially as a second choice if we got Haaland in. But at the same time, if Giroud ends up being, say, second top scorer in the Champions League this year, I don't know if anyone would be able to say to look. I don't think say we could say with a straight face that we kept Tammy and we got rid of the second top scorer in the Champions League in 2020, 2021. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, and I'd like Giroud to stay, if I'm honest, for the experience and for the fact that he has the. I mean, yes, he has performances where he's quite useless sometimes. He's had plenty of them in the past couple of weeks, especially. But for nights like this, nights like last night, I think we really could use him, even as a third choice striker. He still proves his worth against top teams as well. That's one issue I've had with Tammy. He's great, but he's not. I mean, and he's got the odd goal against like Liverpool and Bayern Munich, but I've not seen him play really well against an elite team yet. But there's still time for that to change for sure. There's so many big games coming up, and I'm very sure that Tammy will get a chance to prove us wrong, especially after seeing how Giroud affected the game.
Not going to say no to a world-class striker in Haaland and pick Tammy Abraham, even though we do rate him quite well. And I think he might not be the best choice striker for Chelsea. And as both of you said, being third choice at the age of 22, 23 is not the best feeling ever. And when you know you've got another 5 to 7 years where you can play at the top level, at least as a first choice player. And looking at it from a business perspective as well, I'm sure we can sell him for quite a bit of money, and I think we're already hearing news that Roman Abramovich is ready to spend another 300 million if he needs to win the Premier League next season with Tuchel. So it will be interesting to see how far Chelsea go with Haaland and how much they're ready to pay for someone like Haaland. But that's a debate
That
for
would be
another day.
expensive. That would be expensive. Like I wanted to ask also that is it like we are saying all this like with the assumption that we will get Haaland, but what if we don't get Haaland? Then what happens to Tammy? Does he stay? Does he leave? That's the
To
thing
be
because
honest,
right now that he's already refusing to sign a new contract. Then probably he kind of knows that Chelsea are very serious about Haaland. So the possibility of us getting Haaland is high, and he might be given the boots. But if we don't get him, what happens?
I think at the
Lukaku,
moment,
mate. No, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, at the moment, I think Tammy's kind of just concerned about his own future, and if Chelsea don't sign Haaland, I'm sure Tammy will be ready to sign a contract with Chelsea and extend his stay here. And I think this is where we're not yet sure of how far Chelsea can go with Haaland, because there are reports of Real Madrid targeting him. There is reports of Man City targeting him, and if a team like Man City do end up winning the Premier League, go far in the Champions League, and that could mean serious competition, even if we match the price that they put up for him. So it will be interesting. So I don't. We've seen that we're able to sign a lot of German players through agent Rudiger, but we haven't got anyone for Haaland. So I think if Haaland doesn't come to Chelsea, then we're gonna have to give Tammy Abraham a new contract, and Giroud might even get one as well, or Chelsea might have to look for alternatives. It will be very interesting this coming summer. And the fact that Roman Abramovich has said he's got another 300 million he's ready to spend, so we'll probably be expecting some more defenders to come in, midfielders, players going out as well. So yeah, it will be very interesting, the whole summer window again. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anything else you guys want to add on to the transfer news or the Atletico game before we move on to another big game, Man United?
I'll say is I'll be pretty shocked if say we don't get Haaland and then we just don't get anyone, don't go for Lukaku. I'd be quite surprised.
Will Lukaku be willing to come back to the Premier League?
Yeah, I don't know. He seems pretty happy in Inter, yeah, but it's like
He's very, very happy.
At the end of the day, money talks, and I do think that I do want us to buy another striker.
What is it with Chelsea and strikers, to be honest? I just want to throw this question out. What is it with Chelsea and strikers? Morata and now Werner's kind of going that way. It almost seems like after Drogba, we've never been able to replace that position.
Yeah.
I think after Costa.
Yeah, after Costa.
Because
Costa.
We had Costa there. We had Costa there who was doing. I think with Chelsea, we need that kind of physical striker. I think like how Drogba was, like how Costa was, like they put fear into the eyes of defenders. We don't need like quote unquote like pretty boys who will be at who will be striking like I don't know. They seem too fashionable for me. Like they don't seem like they've gone through any sort of difficulties to get to where they have gone into. It's like everything was handed to them on a platter or something like that. Like they're kind of sports guys. And I'm not saying that the players that we've had are sports, but it's like you kind of see them. Like I've not really played football. I suck at football, so I usually watch and I usually I prefer following the tactical aspect. But usually when you're playing ball during school and stuff like that, there are people who come in fully dressed, like from head to toe. They have the gear, everything, and then they we had friends like that. Like they come with all the gear. They can play a little bit, but like they are not quite there yet. They look like professional players, but they are not. And then you have players that just come in with an old like some old foots or some old boots, and then just like some 2006 Brazil jersey. They come in and then they play like they like like God gave them the ball when they were given birth to. Like they were born to be footballers, and they don't look like footballers, but they are playing like footballers. So I think probably is a bad comparison, but like that's how I see it. I see like Drogba and Costa as like hard kind of players. Like they see them as hard players. They're players that can put fear in the eyes of defenders. And I see Werner, Morata. I think Torres to an extent, but Torres was kind of like borderline. He was in between, but Morata and Werner, especially, like I see them as kind of like pretty boys. Those kind of players where they have everything. They have everything handed on to them. They're just supposed to play. But Werner has the potential. Werner has a very, very good potential to be one of those players, but he needs to toughen up a bit. He needs to toughen up. Like he needs to be pushing defenders more, and he goes down too easily. And man, we just need someone to replace that person. Like we need somebody like Costa. We need somebody like Costa. We need somebody like Drogba, but we haven't had them yet. Lukaku could have been that kind of player for us, but I think that time he was very young too, and probably Mourinho didn't give him enough time to even prove himself. I think after he missed that chance against I think Bayern Munich in the Super Cup, I think that was it for him. So he didn't really get any chance to prove himself, and he went on to prove himself in other places. So probably if he comes back, we might have that kind of player again. I even see Haaland as a Werner kind of striker. Even Haaland, I see him as a Werner kind of striker. But because of his physique, he's able to shrug off defenders easily. So with that, he's strong as well, and he's able to command a lot of fear. Also when he's moving. So I think that's better. I hope what I've said made sense. I don't think it even makes sense, but I hope
it does. It does. I'd also like to add that we also need players that, or forward players who are efficient. I think even Timo Werner he had a great record in Germany, but he also required a lot of chances to put away those goals. We need someone who's
Yeah,
very efficient in front of goal, who is just an outright finisher, who has that strong mentality and is a strong person, but the most, like for me at least, the most important thing is to get someone who is just clinical. That's the one thing we miss so much, is just the fact
yeah,
that
exactly.
we have we don't. I mean, even Timo, yes, he had an insane goal record in Germany. I've just repeated myself. Sorry, but yeah, even him and Ziyech too. They're just not very efficient players. Then they need multiple chances or multiple times to do what they want to do. But we need someone in that team who just needs one chance, or is just extremely an efficient striker who, when given chances, will get you guaranteed goals. And Holland is definitely one of those kind of players, I think. I mean, yes, the record is great, but he also, I need to look into it a bit more, I think. But yeah, just someone who's efficient, someone who doesn't need a million chances to score, someone who just is extremely clinical. That's what we need. That's what our attack is missing at the moment. Our attack has a bit of everything. It's got Giroud for physicality. We've got so much pace. We have so much creativity, but we just don't have enough world class finishing ability in the team at the moment. And it's
Yeah,
weird because I thought Timo Werner would bring that, but his bad confidence, and I think it's become quite apparent that he's not a very efficient player. Having someone like that who has a killer instinct, and that's part of it is mentally for sure, is something that that's a huge thing that Didier Drogba had, that Costa had, that so many of our strikers have had that have been successful, and it's what we're missing at the moment.
yeah. I agree with the point that you made when you said that like they need multiple chances to be able to score one or to be able to do something good with at least one of them. Then the EPL, the Premier League won't give you multiple chances like how the other leagues do, like you said. So yeah, I think Haaland fits in that description very very well because I've watched games where he has zero chances in in like 90% of the game, and then just one chance that he gets, he buries it. And I think that is what we've been lacking as a striker. In Like after Drogba and Costa, that's what we've been lacking. And the 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 Premier League isn't really that forgiving. Like they wouldn't give you that space to experiment. You have to take your chances as it come.
Like our attack is I'm not gonna. I don't want to sound arrogant, but our attack is absolutely stacked. But that's just the one kind of characteristic, the one thing that we
That
need
we don't have.
that we don't have.
Yeah,
And once we get it, I'll honestly believe our attack will be unbelievable once we get it. Because the amount of creativity we have in our wingers and attacking midfielders, and even the variety of play like Giroud and Tammy, it's ridiculous. It's obscene almost. But that's all. That's what we need. That's all we need. Essentially, we're like a Man City without an Aguero or De Bruyne at the moment.
But one
And
thing I want to point
yeah,
out, sorry for the interruption again, but one thing I want to say is that because, and I'm not trying to go after our defense, but I'm saying, is it because when our strikers train, they train against players like Christensen, Rudiger, who we've kind of seen them not be very aggressive in games. So I would say they would not be as aggressive in training as well. So is that a problem? Are we like basically training them with players with defenders who aren't aggressive and they're just used to getting easy goals in trainings, and they're doing well in training, and then as soon as they come on the pitch and they play against aggressive defenders, they kind of struggle and they lack that creativity or the aggressiveness to try and shoot on the spot and create chances.
yeah. I think that's a very very great point because I've seen interviews of Drogba and those guys like saying that when they are playing, when they are in training, they play as if they are playing like a real game because Terry gives players often say that John Terry gives 100% when he's playing. He plays as if he's playing um, um, opposing player from a different team. So it kind of like it hardens them up from training. So when they are playing, they are able to um, um, execute it very very well. But I think, like what you said, probably they are not getting enough um, opposition when they are playing in training. They are not really getting that kind of toughness. They're not really getting that kind of hardness from the defenders that we have. And I think that's a that's a very great point. I've not thought of it like that, but I think that's it, because some of them haven't really trained against we have I think we have Thiago Silva now, but I don't see Thiago Silva giving 100% at training, because if he gets injured, then that's it. So I don't think at his age now, probably when he was younger, because I've also seen interviews of players that he has played with, that they say he's aggressive in training as well. But as he's growing, I don't think you give that level of training. The same with Kante. Kante too was also very hard. Has also been very hard in training, but he's also growing. So I think as they grow, they reduce that kind of level in training. So I think the point you're making is very very important. Probably that is it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key areas I would think that would be um, that we could work on, and that could maybe change next season if we buy a few defenders. I think Marquinhos is on the list, and a few others. But yeah, I think that's a good review of Atletico and a bit of a transfer news discussion, as this news broke out right after this game, right after the Atletico game. So 1-0 against Atletico, and the second leg, if I'm not wrong, will be played at Stamford Bridge on the 12th of March.
Sounds about right.
I haven't even checked this, so I'm not sure if that's
It's
correct or not.
17th. It's the 17th of March.
Okay.
Yeah, four very difficult games in between them.
Yeah,
for sure.
and that would start with Man United on Sunday night. Oof. Last time we met, I think it was a draw. Frank Lampard versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think they were 13th in the table at that time. They're second now. We can close the gap. This is where we play teams in the top half of the Premier League, and if we do win most of these games, I would say top four should be confirmed. But Amart, your thoughts on Man United and the way they've been playing in recent times, with 2 wins of their last 5 games in the Premier League and 3 draws?
Yeah, their talisman has been Bruno. Like Bruno is the one. You see, sometimes when you look at the other teams, there are certain players that you really can't stand. I think Bruno is that kind of player for me when it comes to Man United. But I can't deny the fact that he has been fantastic for them since he came on. He has saved Solskjaer's job on many many occasions, and yeah, I think he's the main threat that we have to be focused on. I don't see. Are we going? You're playing at home, right?
Yeah.
At Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably that might make it a little easier, but I think in the past we've lost at Stamford Bridge to them as well. So that that might not be a factor that much. But I think we need to probably, if we play the three, like the formation that we've been playing nowadays, we can at least get something from. We can beat them. I'm confident that we can beat them, but with the form that they are in, it's very difficult to be saying that like this is how it's going to turn out or this is how it's going to turn out. But it will be a difficult one, because even under Frank Lampard, they couldn't get past us. Granted, they weren't the same team that they are now. They weren't performing at the same level that they are performing now, but we were still able to stop them. They were on a good run before they faced us, and we are still able to stop them. So I hope we can do it again under Tuchel. It will be an interesting matchup, but I hope we can do it again. Have they met before? Has Tuchel and Solskjaer met before? I think they met PSG. I don't remember
I
whether
don't remember where, but they.
I'm not sure actually, because it was 2018, the start of 2018,
yeah.
where Man United played PSG. Well, actually, no, they played them twice. Man United have played PSG quite a bit over the past couple of years. So
I think there was one game that they beat PSG and Neymar couldn't play, and he was shocked that they lost. I've forgotten the game it was, but I don't remember whether it was Tuchel that was managing them or not.
yeah, it was. Yes, Tuchel has managed against Man United before.
Okay.
Because remember, PSG were in Man United's group in this year's Champions League, and Tuchel was managing them. So he's already played against Man United this season under PSG.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, that's true.
And I think they won.
I think PSG won. Actually, I'm not sure because Man United finished third. but PSG, I think they finished first in their group. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
I think United beat them at their home first. I think they beat them. I think 1-0 or so.
So
PSG, because at the point they were leading. They were leading their table. Man United were leading their table.
Yes. So Man United, they won away at PSG, but then PSG beat them away as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys want to dive into the team prediction?
Yeah, sure. Oh man, this is big though. We haven't beaten Man United. We beat them in the FA Cup last year, but we have not beaten them in the league for, I think, a while now. It must be 5 or 6, maybe 7 league games against them.
Really?
I think so.
I think the last time we beat them under Conte, didn't we? We beat them under Conte.
We beat them in the cup final again. We beat them in 16-17. So I think maybe the last time we beat.
4-0?
Yeah, I think maybe the last time we beaten them was the 4-0. I think.
I loved I kind of at the end. Sorry, but at the end of that game, the camera just panned to Jose Mourinho and Conte, and I did a bit of lip reading, not rip leading. And I heard Mourinho say, "You shouldn't be celebrating like that after 4-0."
Yeah.
So the last time we beat Man United was Morata's header in the league. The 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, Morata's amazing header in 2017.
Cross.
Yeah.
It
was 2017. So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Premier League games against them without a win. So I think this time is, I mean, it's going to be tough because United are, I mean, their form isn't the worst. They've had some, I think they won their last game against, Man United are actually unbeaten. But, I forgot, I can't believe we haven't mentioned this. Man United have one of the longest away win records in Premier League history at the moment. I think it's the fifth longest away win streak or unbeaten run. I think it's probably unbeaten run. But
yeah, that's because I mean they've drawn their last 5 games, so I'm guessing it's just unbeaten.
Yeah, it's unbeaten. They haven't lost in 19 away games, so I think it's time to do it this time.
I mean, I'm looking at their away results right now. The last 3 away results were draws.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, Fulham they won, but then Man United, against Arsenal they drew 0-0. Against Everton they drew 3-3. Then West Brom they drew 1-1 all the way. So that's a good omen at least. But we're going to need the guys to be playing well, and really want us to win this one because just absolutely hate it when Man United have gotten away with so many jammy results and decisions, especially against us over the past year or two, and can't be having them getting even further away from us in the table. If we win, we go 3 points. Yeah. If we win, we go 3 points. We're only 3 points away from them, so it'd be really important to get the win.
Okay, team selections before we run out of time, and this podcast ends up being the longest one we've got. Actually, guys, forgot to mention at the start of the podcast, 50th episode. If I've got the numbering correct. So we could be celebrating this one, the next one, and the one after it, depending.
Every single one is the 50th. Well, technically, this is the 52nd video, but I think it's the 50th episode because I think the one that there was the one with Paul Cannaville, and which counts as one. So this, and then there's maybe one more.
There's one with Amaya, which I did at the start of this. and
Yeah,
it was at
so-
odd times, so you weren't able.
Yeah.
Both of you weren't able to join that one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
48.
the last episode was
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
last episode was 48.
Was
I mean,
it?
the last episode was 48, right?
Oh no,
Yeah.
the last episode 49.
Yeah.
49 according to here.
Okay,
So
I'm checking from the Google.
let's just celebrate every episode for the next 5 episodes as 50th, and we sure will get one of them right at least.
No, because I worked hard on the numbering. I made sure I counted all the way from 0 to 49 this time instead of skipping a few numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a good. I mean, whether it's this one or the next one, I think 50.
Yeah, it's still a good one.
It's a good
Yeah,
achievement.
yeah, yeah. Okay, the last one was 49, so this one is 50th. Okay, yeah, that's
See,
true.
Amart, I can count.
It's like I think the Google podcast hasn't updated the 49th episode, so I'm seeing the 48th one on Google, and I'm seeing the 49th one on YouTube. So you're correct.
Okay. Hopefully I am. Well, I mean, if this is the 50th, if this is not the 50th, we'll probably end up reaching it within the next few episodes.
Oh, it is. It is. This is the 50th. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay, so
Right, let's get into it. Let's get into our lineup.
Mendy in goal, guys. Or do you
Of
want to
course.
give Kepper a chance? No. Okay.
Nah, maybe not. Although De Gea, maybe he'll see De Gea at the other end and be like, "Ooh, got to play well this game." But in all fairness, you can't drop Mendy.
Yeah.
Most clean sheets of any keeper in the Champions League until the Man City game finishes in about 20 minutes' time. They're winning 2-0, so Ederson's going to get another one. But Ederson and Mendy are joint for Champions League clean sheets at 5 each. So, yeah, we can't drop Mendy. He wasn't that great against Atletico. Shaky
It's
moments.
incredible
But
to see how we've only conceded 2 goals in 7 games
8.
now in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And to be fair, a record under Tuchel in general, we've only
Drawn 2,
Minamino
won
scored
5
against
out of 7.
Tuchel in terms of in terms of opposition players. Only Minamino has scored. So let's continue that.
Yeah. Okay. Defense. Do we think Thiago Silva will be back? I'm hoping he will be.
Yeah, I think that would depend on
Amart, go on.
Tuchel. No, I'm just saying that might depend on Tuchel's press conference. I think we have to wait to see whether I don't know. But wouldn't Man United be too early for him, or I don't know. If he defends, if he trains during this week, I think fine. But with the way Christensen and Rudiger and Aspi have been performing, we haven't really missed him that much. So if um, um, playing against United might be a bit of a rush, I think he needs to be rested a bit so he can come in for Liverpool instead.
I'm a little bit apprehensive of playing Christensen against Man United, even though he's been even though he's amazing. He's been amazing.
You can't have Christensen perform 2 games in a row. Come on, that's a crime.
Well, no. To be fair to the guy, he's been fantastic in all the games in the Tuchel. But every single time the man plays against Man United, he will always have that. It's like
Big.
He just has that. He'll get hurt or injured. He'll go down. He'll leave the team, and it's just a feature of Man United. They're just a very physical team sometimes, and I'll be skeptical. And if Christensen can start against Man United and play like he did against Atletico, then honestly, I'll be part of the AC hive. I'll be part of the Christensen propaganda now, because if he can do it against Man
Christensen.
I'll change my. If Christensen starts against Man United and keeps a clean sheet, I will change my profile to Christensen, because he's if he can play that again like he did against Atletico against Man United, I'm sold. And I think this is the new Christensen. This isn't just purple patch Christensen, because it's the ultimate test.
Keep that up until we concede a goal with Christensen in the defense.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So I guess we're going with Silva, Aspi, and Rudiger then at the back.
Yeah. I would do Silva, but it all depends on whether he's fit or not. But but we don't have to be too nervous if Christensen is in instead.
Yeah, I want to see Alexa's account become a Christensen fan account. So I want to see Christensen play.
Yeah, I'll do it. If he keeps clean sheet against United. In fact, until he stops keeping clean sheets, I'll do it. If he does it from tomorrow.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fullbacks, are we going with James and Chilwell, or do we want to see Alonso and Callum Hudson-Odoi again?
Chilwell. I'll go with Chilwell and James. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable when I see Alonso playing. I think he's gone on. He's been playing too much, and I don't see him having any kind of um excellent performances. I still think he keeps on playing because he's taller than Chilwell, and yeah, probably better as a left wing back as well. But I want to see Chilwell back because I think he's better than Alonso. And like Alex said in the beginning, he's been sidelined since Tuchel came on. So we need to start using him at some point.
Mm. Alonso has pretty much played every single game under Tuchel. I think he has. He started every single one in the league and Champions League at least.
I'm not sure if that's true because I remember Chilwell starting one of them.
Oh yes, you're right.
He might have. If you're saying he's had an appearance in every game, that's true. But I don't think he started every game.
Yeah, but especially in the last couple of games at least, he has. So I would like to. I want to see Chilwell given a chance, but it's like, when do you? I mean, it's evident that Chilwell. I mean, in the times we have seen him recently, he's not been that great. But neither is Alonso. So at the end of the day, it's just I don't want to see Alonso play against the pace of Man United, especially on that left-hand side against probably Greenwood. I really don't want to see him against him. But what choice do we have? Chilwell's probably not playing that great at the moment, or not in best of form. So it's just luck of the draw. See if I would start Chilwell though, but it'd probably be Alonso. No matter how many times we try and say Chilwell over Alonso, it doesn't speak it into existence. But yeah, it's a shame. And then James as well, right back.
I'd like to see James and Chilwell get a start just to see them have a chance as well. And as you said, Alonso has had pretty good run under Tuchel. Maybe even if we can get Chilwell into that left wing back position, and if he plays well, then we basically have two good options on that side. Midfield, I'm going to go with, I think Kante for me has to start with Kovacic and then Mount. What about you, Amart?
Yeah, I think I'll also go with the same, but Kovacic, Kante, and Mount. I will. I don't want to continue talking poorly about Jorginho, but man, I really don't trust him in that midfield. I prefer we use Kante over him all the time, but it seems like Tuchel likes him a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts next to Kovacic again. But yeah, I hope we go with Kante and Kovacic and then Mount ahead of them, in front of them.
Interesting. I mean, I would probably I'd be looking to give rest, and also the fact that, I mean, I'm an advocate for Jorginho, but I would still I wouldn't play him against Man United. I would go with Kovacic and Kante. Kante, when he came on against Atletico, looked really good. I thought, like, he made all the right decisions, and I really want to see him start against Man United, and Kovacic as well too. But then for the third one, I would be tempted to just rest Mount a bit, and maybe, I mean, we have Liverpool on Thursday. I would start him Mount absolutely against Liverpool on Thursday. But I would also, I mean, Havertz looked quite good when he came on against Atletico, and Ziyech did too. So I would be tempted instead to go essentially Ziyech right wing, or actually, this is kind of skipping it, but because I'm not really going with a third midfielder, I'm going with so essentially Ziyech right wing, or it could be number 10, it depends. But Ziyech, Havertz, and Werner, just to give Mount and save Giroud for Liverpool, I think. Well, that depends really. It depends if Giroud is going to get a start. But I would play Ziyech and Havertz just to give Mount a rest.
Yeah, I do see Mount starting only because I think if he does play on a Sunday, he should have enough time to recover for Thursday, and it is quite risky. I will say this because we've got Liverpool, we've got Everton, Leeds, Atletico, and then a few other teams coming up. So it is risky, and I think Tuchel might use Mount for the Premier League games a lot more because of the fact that he can't play in the Atletico fixtures. But I think that will probably be for the Leeds game. And yeah, so maybe Mount, but yeah, again, I would actually kind of want to see Kai Havertz also get a start or even come off the bench and get a good performance so that he can kind of get prepped for Atletico. And then I think front two, Amart, who would that be for you?
Yeah, I think we have to go with Giroud and Werner because even though Tommy hasn't really been bad per se, but like I think with this new system, like I said in the beginning, we need a striker who would, even though he doesn't get enough service, he can still make chances for himself, and Tommy can do that as well. But I see Giroud doing that more than Tommy because I think there were people asking questions yesterday that what if Tommy or Werner were in the position that um, Giroud was in yesterday? What would they do in that position? Would they take the ball down and shoot, or what would they do? Because we we rarely see any form of bicycle kick from any strikers, and Giroud is somebody who has been scoring a lot like that. So he takes just certain chances that comes his way, and I think that will be needed against Manchester United. So yeah, I'll go with Giroud over Tammy on this one, but probably against Liverpool, bring Tammy in by all means.
Yeah, I think I'll give Giroud the start because of that goal, and then I'll have to see. It'll have to be either one of Werner or Tammy for me. Up top, Alex.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Your front two? Oh, no, did you say that?
Oh, I already
I
said, yeah. I already said I would go Ziyech, Havertz, and Werner. I think he had the pace, and I thought I was quite impressed with Havertz when he came on. Same with Ziyech. So I would give them a chance at least just to make sure that Mount is absolute fresh for Liverpool, and also to give the guys who played well a chance.
Yeah, that's the team for Man United. If you guys want to see a more personalized version, then head over to our social media pages because we usually post them about 2 hours before a game. Comment below what you think the lineup would be like. Score predictions, we'll add them on our social media pages. And anything else you guys want to add on to this game, to the podcast?
Just I'm part of the AC hive. That's all I have to say now. That's all. And yeah, nothing really to add. Just it's going to be a really tough couple of weeks for Chelsea, and it's it's a massive test for Tuchel. If he can come out with some wins and some draws, I'd be quite happy.
Let's actually do this. Let's okay. Something that I did on Twitter the other day. We've got Man United next, Liverpool, Everton, and then Leeds. That's 4 games, possible 12. How many do you see us getting from that 12?
Is this including Atletico or just up to Atletico?
So it just the Premier League. So we've got Man United, Liverpool, Everton, and Leeds. Those are the next 4 games.
I would be happy with 9, but realistically, I think it'll probably be 5 or 6. If we come out with 9, that would be amazing. Like really, really happy. I think. But actually, no, 12 would be really, really happy. 9 would be content, and then we got like between 3 and 5. It would be quite expected. But
Yeah, I'm just thinking about maybe 2 wins and 2 draws, or 3 wins and 1 draw. I think that will be ideal if we're able to get that. I think I'll be okay with that. And yeah, I was saying that I'll prefer to go with three wins and then one draw. I don't know where the draw will come from, but if we're able to get 3 wins out of that four, I think everybody will be happy with Tuchel.
Yeah. I'm gonna get ahead of myself probably, and I'm gonna shoot myself for saying this at the end of these 4 games, but I feel like we might be able to get 12 out of 12 points from this. A win against Man United, a win against Liverpool, and I can say we're going to get 12 out of 12. So I feel like it's just a recurring theme. The other day on the live stream, I said we're going to win the Champions League because I read this stat where the last time we won an away fixture in the Champions League, we ended up winning the Champions League. And every time we've won an away, when we've what was it? Yeah, sorry. When we have scored first in a fixture, we won the Champions League in the round of 16, something like that. So based off that, we're winning the Champions League this season. We're getting 12 out of 12 points in the next 4 games. Yeah, no. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can follow our other channel and you can watch the live watch alongs there. I think it was quite a funny. It was quite a funny reaction to the Giroud goal. I don't know if you guys saw it on TikTok. We posted it there, and even on Twitter. But it was quite a funny reaction because we all celebrated, and then as soon as and then Amaya was, I think, a second ahead of us, or like 10 seconds ahead of us, and he's like, "Oh, offside, offside," and we all just sat there like, "What's happening?" So it was quite a funny.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it on YouTube after the game. I watched, I think, part of um the live stream. I just, I just wanted to see you guys your reactions to that long wait that we had to endure.
No, because I think what happened is because it was 3 a.m. in India and Amaya was half asleep. 7 a.m. in Australia, so Matthew was half asleep. It was 1 a.m. here, so all three of us were half asleep, and we were almost saying how bad it would be if it ends up as a 0-0, where we sit here for 3 hours just to see the ball being passed around. And luckily, that Giroud goal, after that, all three of us were on the edge of our seats for the rest of the 10, 20 minutes. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, I think that's all for tonight's episode, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Depending on what platform you're on, make sure to subscribe, leave a like rating, add it to your playlist. It does mean a lot. Thank you for the support actually on the last few episodes. It's been an incredible run so far. We've almost gotten 2.5 thousand, no, not 2.5 thousand, 1.5 thousand views in the last 5 episodes, which is incredible to see. But just a request from everyone watching this, make sure to subscribe when you're here. It means a lot to us because 75% of our viewers come from non-subscribed people. So it would mean a lot if you could subscribe, and make sure to check out our website and other social media pages for more updates. And that's all from tonight, and we'll see you next time.